Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? So, quick stat for you: 50% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years, 20% of those businesses fail in the first year. That's according to Forbes 2023. I'm gonna say it one more time: 50% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years, 20% fail in the first year. And here's the thing: there's a lot of people out here that have created businesses that aren't really businesses. What they've done is they've created for themselves a job, and in actuality, they are a contractor. But why are businesses failing, and how can you not fail? And by the way, one of the things that I always hear from businesses is that they want to be millionaires within their first year. Here's the thing: only 9% of small businesses actually reach $1 million. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what Fire Savvy is doing differently, how we are consistently getting well in that 9% and better range, and what you can do as well. My name is Donna St. Louis. I am co-founder of firesavvy.net. We work with small businesses who provide professional services, which probably make about 30% of the new entrepreneurial businesses that are out there, but they're in the professional services arena. They generally are working online, and what they're looking for is they want to know how not only to get to bigger stages, they want to leverage bigger stages to do better lead generation so they're recognized in their industry, and they want to take that lead generation into a high ticket, long-term, multi-recurring revenue offer, and they're looking to craft that signature offer, and we help them do that. All right, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about the way businesses are blowing it, because here's the thing: from 2020, when people got in business, to now, things have significantly changed, right? So what's up to my Facebook users? I see y'all. You got to put your name though, because it's not showing me on chat. But hey, how are you doing? So what's happening is, in 2020, a whole bunch of people had money, right? Government was giving out subsidies. People had a little extra cash, and there was magic that they could make happen, right? People weren't having to pay their rent or their mortgage because things were covered, and they had this cash. And because they had that cash, they were being a little more, shall we say, loose with it. They were making these investments. So basically, you could go online and you could sell just about anything, and people were willing to buy it. They were willing to take a shot because that was their chance to take a shot. But what we see is now we're in 2023, and half of all businesses are failing within the first 5 years. 20% within the first year. 20%. All right, but why? Let's look at it. Number one, cash flow. They don't have cash flow, they don't have capital, and even more so, they lack the skills related to sales. So that is the first reason that they're blowing it: cash flow, lack of capital, lack of skills related to sales. Number two, poor or flawed business model with a poor client, core, and offer. In other words, I got an offer, but is the offer tied to the dream client? Is the dream client interested in what the offer is going to deliver them? A lot of people are out here going, I'm going to help people get what they need, but they're not buying based on needs. They're buying based on desires. And because of that, they're looking for the low price leader when you're selling to needs. So that flawed business model with a poor core, poor client definition, and a poor offer, it's causing a lot of these businesses to fail. Pricing issues are another issue. The pricing issues related to the offer and value proposition are off. They're skewed. That's causing people not to buy. And I see this a lot. It's either too cheap, so people don't believe it, or it's so out of range that people can't afford it, and it's not directly tied into your dream client. So because that little trifecta there isn't working, it's causing businesses to fail. Then there's a mismatch or no team. See, most people know that the biggest expense that a company can have is their resources. However, the biggest resource that a company can have to drive revenues is their team. But people, if you go and look at the stats, most of the small businesses literally do not have a team. And so you have these solopreneurs out here trying to do it all by themselves and get to $1 million, and they can't do it, and they're wondering why. Do you know that almost all of the $1 million companies have a team, and yet most solopreneurs do not? And then they wonder why they're not making it to the $1 million. And then on top of it, most of them aren't making more than $60,000 a year in their business. And then the number 5 thing is that it's mistimed or mismatched product launches. That's a big number 5 that is really, really like hurting companies, that their offers are their product launches are mistimed or mismatched. And number 6 is they lack the mentoring, coaching, education, or things that they need in order to make their business foundation work in the first place. So those are the 6 reasons that Forbes show us why half of business fail in 5 years and 20% of them are failing in the first year. Flawed model, pricing issues, cash flow inability to sell, I should say, flawed model, pricing issue, mismatched or no team, and a mistime or mismatched product launch, and lack of mentorship, coaching, and education. Those are the top 6 reasons. And by the way, I saw that. I've been seeing this a lot lately, especially on my feed, as I'm using business terms. And because people don't know the business term, they're arguing the wrong thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about, right? You're arguing something that's not even the thing. It's like I'm defining an asset and they're arguing about what an asset is. They're arguing about against an asset. And I'm like, oh my God, you don't know what an asset is. How are you even in the conversation? So that's happening because people are lacking that number 6, that mentorship, that coaching, that advice. And I hear a lot of people say, oh, I don't need coaching. I don't need mentorship. But I can literally say that working with a client today, she literally this week, if I do quick math, had an $85,000 delta in her business because of business advisory, right? $85,000 delta. In other words, she was going to be here and now she's up there. That's huge. So I want to say what's up to Cynthia and Nadia. And now I'm going to tell you our secret. Because when I started my business intelligence tech consultancy back 100 years ago, we were actually a bit of a unicorn, right? Most small businesses, only 9% of small businesses actually make it to $1 million, right? Hey, what's up, Chanel? 85 is usually, we did it. It was about 85, right? Because she would have been, if I think of the number, she would have been negative 25 on the number she had. And now she's plus 50, 60. So it's about an $85,000 delta right now. So that's a huge positive, going from a negative to a positive just like that, right? And this is within what, 2-3 days? Okay, so when I started my business intelligence company, we were a unicorn. Remember, only 9% of small businesses actually reach $1 million. So when we reached a $250 million valuation now 15 years ago, and our average size deal was $5.7 million. So I don't even question that I have breathed rare air, right? I don't take that for granted. But I do bring that expertise to our, to our clients. Me and Chanel, who is on here right now, Chanel Evans has managed $3 billion in projects. I have been the co-founder of a $250 million business where our average deal size was $5.7 million. And I want you to put this in perspective. Only 9% of small businesses reach $1 million. We did almost $1 million in revenue in, this is July, 8 months. In 8 months. So we're doing something in 8 months that most businesses never reach at all. And by the way, most entrepreneurs only make, of the ones that do make it to that, 5 year, $60,000 a year. So why were we able to do it? What are we doing differently, right? Because in 6 months, we've helped our clients grow using the same formula that we follow, and we're already crushing the 9%, and we just got started. So here's our secret. I'm going to share with you our secret and how we do it. Here we go. So number 1, when you start, you need to craft an alpha, beta, beta plus, and delta business release plan out the gate. Out the gate. In other words, you can't be lazy and impatient. You can't just throw something to market and say, that's my final release. It does not work. Yeah, Chanel, the average, go look on Forbes Girl. The average is $60,000, and it takes them 5 years to get to $60,000. And most of them are solopreneurs. They're not actually running a business, they're a contractor with a job. So, the first thing you want to do is craft an alpha, beta plus, and delta business release plan right at the start of your business. In other words, recognize this is what we're putting out now. We're going to hold on to this until we hit this KPI or this metric, and then we're going to do this release. We're not making a pivot in our business, but we are going to make a shift in either who we serve or how we deliver it. That's not a pivot, by the way. If I hear one more person call, well, we're doing a little growth or we're serving a different client as a pivot, that's not a pivot. I mean, quite honestly, do a little research and understand what the language is before you argue it. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure you're putting in that time ahead of time, that you have those key performance indicators so that you'll know how to go from your alpha release of your business to your beta plus to your delta. Don't be impatient. Don't be lazy. Do the work. And yes, it is actual work. Number 2, cash flow is king. And employees, while they are an expensive resource, they actually help drive amazing cash flow. So you want to hire for sales, marketing, customer service, and operations as early as you possibly can. So you, as a leader of the organization, can do the work that the organization needs in order to make money. Number 3, be slow and conservative rather than running after cash and clients. In other words, you want to leverage your business releases and modify as needed. So for your alpha release of your business, you might go, I'm going to put 10 clients in this alpha release, recognize what I need to change, make those changes, do a beta release, grandfather your clients in, and then go and get another 10 or 20 clients, and then do your beta plus release, then go and get another 10 or 20 clients. And what you're doing is you're modifying based on the needs of your dream clients. You'll modify your dream versus transition client definition as you get more of these clients. But if you do a slow and conservative run, instead of running after cash and clients, you'll be way less likely to fail, and you're going to play the long game for the big money. Big money does not come in the short game, and it damn sure doesn't last. So you don't want to crash into the market and blow up. What you want to do is you want to be like the bull. You want to walk down the hill slowly so you can hit all the cows. Then number 4, know who your dream clients are, and more importantly, who they are not. Understand there is a difference between a dream client and a transition client. And if you have not defined that, then you actually don't know who to turn away. And then what happens is people start doing all these different types of offers to serve all these different types of clients. And what they're doing is they're causing chaos in their business rather than streamlined efficiencies. So you really want to take a look at it and say, well, who is my dream client and what specifically do they want? And how do I satisfy those wants that are in alignment with what I offer, right? You got to do that. Number 4, don't spend heavy in ads until it's time to spend in ads. And when you do decide to invest in ads, and this usually is right around between your beta and beta plus release, that's when you actually invest heavy and pay close attention to your ROAS so you'll get a massive return. That's when you want to do that. Number 6, stay flexible through coaching and introspection. Nothing is personal. It's so funny because I put out content, and what I find is that people really get bent out of shape in regards to the content, because at the end of the day, they're taking it personal, then recognize that it's a business statement. They take it as a personal attack instead of looking at, oh my God, how does this impact me and my business? Or is this true about me and my business? Or what do I have to do for me and my business for this not to be true? It's all business. So really take a look at what it's saying about your business. And the fact that even if you're triggered means that it probably says something about you and your business. So you want to stay flexible through coaching and introspection. The absolute thing that I love about, Chanel and I and the way we work together is we have 2 very specific lanes. And when people come to us, they're getting a coaching business advisory board that includes myself, more of the visionary, big picture ideation, information, and stuff like that. And then with Chanel, it's definitely heavy on strategy and implementation. And then we have someone on mindset, someone on influence making, getting people to bigger stages, and then someone in the operations. So there's this whole collective that's really working towards helping clients hit their goals. But you want to stay flexible by having the coaching and introspection in your business and recognize that if you're getting that feedback, there's probably something that you actually need to take care of and correct. And then number 7, stay objective and achievement focused, right? We're always looking at our KPIs. We know our numbers. How many leads does it take for us to get to a conversation? How many conversations does it take for us to get to a sale? How much activity do we need to do in order to get those leads? Where are bottlenecks in our business, and where do we need to hire to release those bottlenecks? And then finally, number 8, and this is the big one, fold time. Ask yourself, how can I do this faster? Once you have everything laid out and it's working, and you've gone through your beta plus release and you're getting ready to go to your delta release, at that point, that's when you start to fold time. That's when you could start saying, how do we exponentially grow? That's when you start really looking at 10x, right? But those are the 8 things that we do, and we do them all the time. So the one thing that we know is that people haven't breathed the rare air that Chanel and I have been very fortunate in breathing. And so when we speak, we might be speaking in a different manner that people are they're just not used to. So it shows up in the way we move and how we speak and even how we post. And yes, people get offended because they take it personally. But at the end of the day, a lot of times they're not running businesses. They're contractors trying to figure out how to run a business. But then there are our ideal clients, our dream clients. Our dream clients don't get offended. They get inspired, and they're going, yeah, I see it. That's what I need to do. I don't want to be a part of the 50% of businesses that will pivot, move slow, and fail in the next 5 years, with the average business owner only making $60,000. I want to be a part of the people who are making $50,000, $75,000, $100,000, $125,000, $150,000 a month on a consistent basis. How do I do that? How do I turn $1 million in revenue in 6 months, 7 months, rather than, only being, not even making it to the 9% that are doing it? Anyway, that's what, yes, be inspired, not offended. Absolutely. Right. And that's what you're looking for. How do you be inspired and go, oh my God, I have somebody on here who's literally, how many people do you know that built a $250 million business that is willing to sit here and go, no, carry this, move this, cut this, do that. And what I find interesting is that I've been in rooms with people who are literal billionaires that have, honestly, they got no fucks to give. And if your feelings hurt, that's your problem. They're going to say it how it needs to be said. And at that point, you have a choice. You could be offended, or you could take notes. I learned a long time ago, I had no room for my ego, and there was no room for my feelings. I had to go get me a notepad, let me write down. Even if I did not agree with what they said, I recognized that they were speaking from a place, they were speaking from standing on grounds that I have not even seen. They have experienced things that I know nothing about. And so therefore, no worries, Cynthia. So therefore, when they speak, I'm not listening with my ego. I'm listening to learn. I'm not listening to be right. I'm listening to know better, right? And so that's the thing that you want to get to. You want to get to, how do I get this and apply this lesson to my business? So that way I'm like, yeah, I get it. And for me, what I really learned was, instead of sitting there and arguing my opinion, I would go and educate myself on their point, and then come back and go, I know exactly where you're standing now. Now I understand. Now I'm standing in a place of knowledge. That's where you got to get to, seriously, because you got a choice. You could be like me and Chanel And the 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1% of people that's making well over $1 million in their business and damn sure earning more than $60,000 a month, or you could be a part of the 50% of small businesses that are going to fail within the next 5 years, or the 20% that's going to fail within the next year, or the business owners that's only making $60,000 a year. You have to choose where you want to be, and you got to get your ego out of the way if you want to be in that 9% or less. That's all I got for you. Have a fantastic day. If you want to know more about firesavvy.net and how our chief business advisors help you become badasses in business, do let me know. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. Hey, Vernita, absolutely. Well said. Be inspired, shut up, and take notes. Listen, I learned to go in those rooms and be very quiet. And what I do now is I share what I've learned. And when people get all up in their feelings, and I'm like, get in your feelings then. I don't know how that's going to help your business though, but get in your feelings. And what I'm definitely not going to do is I'm definitely not going to debate somebody. I'm going to be like, I don't need to debate you because I already got 2 comments in my account. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all. Have a fantastic one.